I thought it'd be fun to kind of make a little video of some of the projects that I've done since I've been here at RORVR, Ramona Oaks RV Resort. This is I call the pond, trail, and bench. None of this existed. This is just a fence here. One of my other favorite projects has been renewing the split rail fence. That all is new down there. But I did about a quarter mile of split rail fencing over the course of the summer. A project that kind of preceded the pond trail was the Site 32 trail, or the creek trail as I call it. You can walk this path down to the creek that flows along the south side of the park. When we first got here, this entire area was totally overgrown with vines. In fact, you really couldn't even see the bench because it was covered in vines too. It had been abandoned a long time ago. So I used the Kubota front loader, cleared a path down here, took the bench apart, stripped the planks down to bare wood, painted everything, and then put in this little landing area, which again, none of this existed. Just make a little area to kind of sit and enjoy the creek. Had a lot of fun doing this one. And again, at the top of the creek path, you see more of the fencing that I worked on. I pretty much put my hands on every single section of fence there is here in this park. All the way up behind those trailers and up to our site, way up there. A lot of work. Another one of my pet projects was taking care of the mini golf course. You may recall a number of weeks back I wrote about replacing all of the signs at each hole with new fresh signs. When I got here, there wasn't really enough manpower to keep these greens clear and free of leaves. So I kind of took it upon myself to blow the leaves off several times a week, whether I knew anybody was going to be using them or not. And now that winter is here, and a lot of leaves have fallen, wind direction has changed, it's not that bad anymore. But at any rate, I glued a lot of carpet down that was kind of coming up. As I said, I replaced all the signs at the holes. And then, of course, number 9 was just terrible. It was pretty much threadbare. There was no carpet covering the little mound at the end of the hole. And finally, about a week ago, Elaine and I got to working on it. We had enough artificial turf, which you can see lying right there, to do the entire hole, including the mound. Came out really good. We finished it today, get everything glued down. You can see I was able to cut a single piece of turf, and then cut 2 seams, one at each end, and then was able to wrap the entire carpet around the mound and glue it down. So Rich thought I might have to do 2 or 3 pieces, but I got done with 1 piece and a couple of cuts. At any rate, we finally finished that today. And if I don't say so myself, I think it looks pretty good here. Also, when I first arrived, the dog run area here had a lot of weeds in it. Did a lot of spraying, pulled weeds, sprayed weeds all over this area. Lika spent time out here raking up leaves just to keep it looking better. And I think we were successful. Every day I check the closet where we keep the golf clubs and the golf balls. I keep them all separated by color. Nobody's been out here to play in a while, so it's just like I left it a few days ago, but usually on the weekends they do get used. Another area that I kind of took under my wing and started to take care of was the horseshoe pits. You may recall months ago I painted the horseshoes green and orange. Well, most of the oranges come off of the horseshoes, but the green still shows in the others. But I pulled the pins out. They were only 6 feet out of the ground, or 6 inches out of the ground. I got them up to 12 inches now. And then I started raking everything whenever it gets used. Sometimes I'd rake it even when it hadn't been used, just because dogs have been walking across it. But anyway, we got a lot of compliments on how nice we keep the horseshoe pits, and I'm hoping Alika will be able to continue that tradition. The other thing is, when I first arrived here, this entire area was covered in weeds all around the horseshoe pits, under that canopy over there, all the way up to the front parking lot where you can see the split rail fence. It was just weeds everywhere. So I spent a lot of time on my hands and knees, and then came back and sprayed with poison. I had to pressure wash that patio behind the barn to get some grease off of it. That took part of a day. But anyway, now it's kind of like a little place you want to come and hang out. When we first arrived, there was kind of a gray metal chain there, which wasn't even visible. There was no sign hanging from the chain. We put in a new plastic yellow chain, which is plastic covered, and I put up the signs and a new post to keep people from driving their vehicles off-road here. One of my real sources of pride this summer was taking care of the pool. During the summer months when it was being heavily used, I would have to sweep and vacuum it 3-4 times a week. Now, as we're down to like once a month. But got the area all cleaned up. All the chairs are always organized. And then, of course, the playground right behind the pool area was, even though it's mostly artificial turf there, anyway, the grass area, which you can see behind the little patio cover over there, there's artificial turf there, but around the edge of the artificial turf, and even in the middle, coming out to the turf and around along the sidewalk, but nothing but weeds, and around the playground equipment, that whole area was covered with weeds. Spent over a week just weeding that area on my hands and knees. This is the back of the storage area. Again, when I first came here, there used to be an old park model on jacks here, and this stuff that you see was all around and under it, everything. And basically, I palletized all of the decorative pavers and garden borders, etc., and so forth. And eventually, they got moved over to where you see them now. Stacked up all the wood, and so forth. And eventually, this stuff will probably be moved further around. But for right now, anyway, just created more room. We could probably create a couple more spaces here for storage of units, but. Anyway, everything is organized now and can be easily accessed. You can actually find what you're looking for. One of the first sections of split rail fencing that I worked on was right behind our site. You see where I put a new post in right there, and then I put in 4 rails between the 2 outside posts and fixed that because the rails there were broken and too short. And once I figured out how easy it was going to be, I started doing the rest of it. Of course, easy is a relative term because you still have to dig all the post holes and reset everything. But that's what got me started on working on the fence. This is our maintenance building. One of my projects early on rainy days was to come in here and get things organized. I got all the screws organized in these little Tupperware things that Rich got. When we first got here, plumbing stuff wasn't all in one spot. It was everywhere. There was stuff there, there was stuff there, and there was stuff back there. Now all the paint is in one place. We have more electrical back here that I organized onto this rack. Got this thing cleaned up. I actually turned the bathroom into a working bathroom. The toilet was all clogged up. Anyway, it works now. And I'm probably the only one who uses it, but it works. And so now you have all the plumbing stuff in one spot, organized by size. And then you have all the fasteners right there, and there's electrical and more electrical stuff there, as well as in the back room, electrical wire. You can see the wiring up there. And of course, this is nothing but paint products, paints, solvents, glues, etc. And then I will move over to the backyard where I spend a lot of time also. We call the tool shed. This building, or Connex, as it's called, is our tool shed. And again, when I got here, there There's total chaos on the tools. I got them all organized, grouped together. I got everything on the pegboard organized and got things that were alike all put together in the same spots so you can find stuff now. Got the bench cleaned off. Went through all these shelves back here and got rid of a lot of crap. But again, this was done over a number of days. Again, when it was raining, I couldn't work outside. I would come in here and just lose myself in reorganizing. I really liked it a lot. I see that Dave just brought back the extra unused artificial turf. Hey, our backyard, as we call it, is located right next to the Connex, or in between the Connex and the maintenance building. When I first got here, there was no fuel station. It was all sitting on the ground under that tarp on a pallet. I built a little shelter for it. Got an old set of shelves. Rearranged the shelves so the cans would fit, and now we've got a little, I call it a little fuel station there. I reorganized all the ladders. Everything here. I got all the trash cans in one place. I picked up a lot of trash back here. Raked a lot of leaves out of here. You can see the leaves that come back. And then back in here, turn on the light. I installed this solar light because there's no power out here. But this is where we store the golf cart extra tires. But this is a total mess too when I first got into it, and I got it reorganized and moved a lot of stuff out. There are some plumbing fixtures back here that rarely get used, but they're in here. Some hydraulic oil. But anyway, now it's usable. So this was the last major thing I did, or the last of the things I'm showing you. It wasn't the last thing I did, but I couldn't do this on rainy days, obviously, so I had to do it during when the weather was good, although I was out here a few times when it sprinkled. But got everything kind of organized again, so at least you could find things, that things weren't all mixed together and jumbled together. Everything's kind of organized again now. Obviously, there were a lot of day-to-day things that I did. It was just part of maintaining the park, which everybody participates in. Blowing leaves. You can see the leaves are an ever-present problem out here. It's windy today, so we got a lot of leaves on the ground again. It's a never-ending battle. I trimmed all the ice plant back in this area. Over here, the decorative masonry border had disappeared into the ground. I had to dig it out of the ground, so there'd be a border there again. Cut back the ice plants and made the driveway wide enough so you could actually back a truck in there. So there you go. You got the maintenance building, the backyard, and Connex next to each other. This is our office. Elaine also spent a lot of time out here working on the ice plant, trimming it back, pulling weeds. Every time she had a little time, she came out here when the shade was right and work in certain areas. But we've really got this front area looking nice again. So I'm not making a video to make myself really cool and like I'm really accomplished. I just did it because that'd be kind of nice to document what I had done here. These are my own special projects that I chose to do, and I had a lot of fun doing them. It's one of the things I enjoyed my time here so much is that we were kind of given rein to find things to do and make things look better, and that's exactly what I did most of the summer. Anyway, thanks for watching.